when I started to work inside this movie, I am Italian, but was it the first time that I learned about the history. So that there was an unknown history also in Italy, that an entire division came in Tuscany to save our country by the Nazi regime and the fascist regime. So I started to learn more about this history, and step by step I found the veteran, and it was very funny because the first call that I did to a veteran in America, he immediately recognized me with my Italian accent. The first word that he said was "ciao," because many veterans who fought in Italy now they are very able to talk in Italian language. The project was a project with a multi-ethnic and a multi-country crew, and also many other people enter in the project because they believe that it was a project absolutely to tell as a documentary. It was very strange that there are many USA documentaries, and I think that there are many documentaries about Tuskegee Airmen and 761 Tank Battalion, but I don't know if there are a solely specific documentary about the 92nd Infantry Division. And I was very excited in telling a story that was happened in a country, Italy, and I was very excited to show how Italians were grateful for the sacrifice of the Buffalo Soldier. So this is the main reason and the main purpose that moved me to do this project.
You know, in my book, it's, you know, it's first person, it's their stories, it's their words, me trying to give them a place to share their stories with us in a way that we can understand and relate to them. And then in your documentary, it's just it's so many nuances in a way because you're Italian and how you see it, and also you're young, and just you're used to it. And it kind of makes me feel hopeful, because when I wrote We Were There, it was like, I was like in this sort of desperate search to find myself, I think, and I sort of found myself through their voices and realized what some of the actors had said, that they made it so that I could be a professor at NYU and be an author, and so many doors opened for me because of the sacrifices of these men who I don't even know how they did what they did. And it's just really makes me feel really good to think that, you know, these stories could go on, because so many of the ones that are even in my book are dead, and, you know, or really, really ill, and a lot of them don't tell their families what happened to them. So I've always worried that the stories would just sort of go away.
The process in the research work contains also reading the report of the 5th Army in Italy, because it was very important also that every single battle in Italy was verified before to show, to tell. And it was funny because at the beginning I wanted also to interview some maybe old Italian that was collaborated with the Nazis, so some fascists, because I read a report in which a Monte Rosa division was a division who fought against the Buffalo Soldier in Sommo Colonia. This man recognized the valor of the Buffalo Soldier. Was strange, because it's strange to think that an enemy recognized the valor. And this man said that Buffalo Soldier were a valor soldier. The problem of the Buffalo Soldier were the white officer in command of the. So the enemy knows better what's the problem inside the 92nd Division, that the main problem was the command of the white officer. The first purpose is to show the valor of Buffalo Soldier. So the purpose of this documentary is to educate people inside university and college. This is the main purpose to show the documentary.
Okay.
And so the military has changed a lot. It's changed, you know, in a way it's more ahead of America, because if you think about the fact that it desegregated in 1948 and America really didn't desegregate until the mid-60s, you know, a little bit behind. And a lot of those, you know, I really do believe that the soldiers of World War II are the ones who began the real the modern day civil rights movement, because when they came home, I mean, you saw in the documentary, go to the back of the bus, drink out of, you know, the colored water fountain. Well, they weren't going to stand for that, and so they marched. I think it's also important to note that the African American press of that time waged a campaign to, I mean, it seems really odd, but to give blacks the right to die for their country, because I think that they realized in being able to fight that that was a way that we could get recognition and be considered real Americans. And Eleanor Roosevelt was also really instrumental in the 92nd Infantry even being, you know, formed, and also fighting for blacks to have it seems so crazy to me to have the right to die in a horrible war, so that you can prove that you're really American. And a lot of the Europeans thought that black soldiers had tails, that they would eat people. And this WAC I interviewed, one of the first WACs in Europe, the only black African-American WACs that served in Europe, she said, you know, they used to parade up and down the street, and the British people would be like, oh my God, they couldn't believe how beautiful they were, how they didn't have tails, and how much better their uniforms looked than the white WACs, because since so many of the black WACs were in, you know, worked for the laundry and did stuff like that, and used to have to, you know, clean for a living and cook, they kept their uniforms really nice. So it was kind of, that was a really fun story.
If there is somebody who studied at New York Film Academy filmmaking, not filmmaking, but also documentary, or is interested in documentary, I think that the thing most important in a documentary is find a right story to tell, and after that came all the technical and edit. But the focus, for start, is find a story that is a big honor to tell. So, and other things very important, I think that is take very attention to the research, verify every details of your research. And interview many people as possible about an argument, because many point of view can be useful to you to try to find the right way of your subject, your documentary. So it's a hard work to do. But I think that the documentary now became very important in our society. So, and also people who like filmmaking, not only tell a story, can also show through the documentary his art, his artistic mood, his artistic way. Many documentary now can be with the fiction, so you can do reconstruction of fictional side inside the documentary. So in one sense, you can do also the work of the filmmaker doing a documentary. I don't think that documentary is a serious or B-side of the filmmaking.
Tell stories that haven't been told, and I think that's the best advice I could give. There's a lot of stories that haven't been told, a lot of important stories. And listen to people.